Hello guys, Spartan Cat, and in today's Battle Cats video, I'm ranking cat units by design, so it goes from D tier up to S tier, and today I'm using a mouse, so it doesn't take 2 minutes to scroll and get a unit into one of the boxes, but let's get right into it. And I'm going to start things off with Mohawk Cat, and Mohawk Cat, I like the muscle, I like the Mohawk, it looks cooler than the other two forms, but I'm going to give it a C, only because I think it's pretty minimalistic, but it's derpy. Um, has a mohawk, has muscle, so it's not a complete failure. But you know, there's some really good units that I'm going to get to in terms of design. Let's see. Moving on from that, I have Dark Laser, and Dark Laser. I think Dark Laser is a pretty cool cat. I'm going to give him a B tier, her a B tier, because Dark Laser is pretty much straight out of Star Wars, lightsaber, and it's a good unit for the most part. So you gotta like that. It's functional and it looks cool. So you get the best of both worlds. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit, and right here we have Yukimura. And what isn't awesome about a flying bird with claws? I'm gonna give him an S tier. You know, he's sick. He sprints across the field with his wings, and he tears enemies up mercilessly with his claws. It is sick. The attack animation is cool, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Flying, pretty much a flying eagle, and his brother-in-law is gonna join him. Wake Muhammad Cat goes in the list here as well. I think Ponos did an excellent job animating these guys and giving them these features and making them look awesome, and they're good units. So they're successes. Moving on from that, we have Balrog, and I think he's another guy who goes in that list here. What's not cool about jumping monster who welds a burning log for a weapon? I mean, there's just something about that is cool. I don't know how else to explain it, but you look at his attack animation and everything, and one by one he picks enemies off with a burning piece of lumber. That's pretty awesome in my opinion. Now let's get to some of the cool cats that aren't super cool, aren't well. And another one of those B tier cats is going to be Cyberpunk. I think Ponos did a good job with him. He's sitting in a little crib, and he's shooting enemies off with laser beams. That's pretty cool. But he's pretty slow, and he's small. If he was bigger or some huge, if he was a huge unit, that'd probably be an A tier. But I like him. I think Ponos did a good job designing him. Now, I know you guys are gonna want me to get into the Galaxy Gals, so I'm gonna do that too. There's Kai, and I think I'm gonna be going with the majority of people here if I'm gonna give Ponos an S for the way they designed her. If you guys know, you know. And moving on from that to let's find another cool Uber. So I'm going to really be testing this mouse feature out too, because this would normally take minutes for me to bring somebody up from the back here. Maybe if I could find one of those. All right, let's see what we can find. I am lagging a little bit, but that's cool. Right here, thumbnail unit. I always want to cover the guys. This works great. If I have to do scroll up, it's way better than me inching forward with my fingers. This is what I think I'm going to do for now on. I'm going to use the scroll feature, but easy S tier. As I said on the thumbnail, I think he's dope. He's really cool. Ponos does a great job, especially with the Fest Ubers. They all look awesome. And shout out to Ponos because there is no F tier category, if you guys noticed, because I think Ponos does such a good job that the worst it can do is a D tier, and that would be the normal unevolved cat, which I don't know if it's on this list or not because the true forms already are, but on the thumbnail, the normal cat would be a D tier because it's just a smiling cat. There aren't a lot of features to it. It still holds a big part in all of our hearts, though. We all love him. Just a little bit of a lazy design compared to some of the beasts that Ponos has made. And let's see what else we have. Luffy. I think Ponos did a good job with Luffy. Obviously, it's a Luffy reference with the straw hat and everything. So I think that was pretty unique. I'm gonna put him in A tier. I think he's one of the coolest Nika Lugas. Him and Shisholan probably share this tier. They're not quite as cool as the Uberfest Ubers or Bahama Cat, but for being Nika Lugas especially, they're pretty sick. So Luffy's gonna go in our A tier. Let me find another one. Here's Sodom. I think Sodom's a pretty cool guy. He might not be the greatest unit, but he's pretty cool. Most of the Dragon Emperors, in my opinion, are A's and B's in terms of appearance. I'll give him an A minus. I think Sodom is a pretty cool unit. He's a dragon who attacks you with a spinning spinning tail, and that tail is dinosaur-like. It's pretty cool. Let's see some stuff we may have missed at the bottom. Mechabun. Now, with Mechabun, I know everybody thinks of how bad of a unit he is, but Mechabun, you gotta admit, he's pretty cool. You are not only playing as a machine, but you are playing with the guy that you used your blood, sweat, and tears to beat. I mean, you're going. I know you guys are going back into Moon Chapter 3, trying to solo Bun Bun with him, even though it's not going to work. You guys just want to, you guys want to get back at him. So he's going to go into that S tier. As poorly made of a unit he is one of the coolest designs, and you could argue he's the coolest special legend in the game because you are literally playing the guy that you've spent months and months to beat. And then once you get to the Relic one, you've spent years trying to play that game and beating him. So, it's really a big boost in pride when you get him. All right, moving on from that, we have Sumo Cat. And I think Sumo Cat, is another one of those derpy units. I think he's pretty cool, but, he's pretty basically designed, if for a lack of words. I think he was put together pretty quickly, but we all love him. He looks pretty cool, I guess. Let me try to find a D tier. And, there aren't a lot of them. The only D tiers I could really think of are the really, really, really simple units that got put together in 2 minutes. But Ponos doesn't do that. I mean, as I said, Ponos does a great job designing their units. So I gotta give them full props to that. You know what? Maybe this capsule cat from some event, 6 years ago or whatever. I remember being a little kid when I was playing in this event, and I just don't think he's that cool. It's just not unique. I think in second form there's a Jamira cat that pops out, but nothing special. I think this gets a D tier. It's very basic, very routine, and it looks like something I could draw. I'm not a good artist, but as I said, anything above this C tier I consider pretty decent art. The B's are pretty good, A's are really good, the S's are really, really good, and we have our first place right there. We'll see if anybody beats her. Kankan, he's a really good unit. I'm going to put him at a B. I think he's pretty basic, but he's to the point where he's animated, he's dancing, and, it's pretty unexpected what he would do. It's not just like he bites like a cat. I mean, he's just dancing. So props to Ponos for somehow coming up with a cat that dances and animating that. I think that deserves some respect. I'm going to move him up to I'll move him up right here, middle B. Beefcake Cat, he would be an A tier if he was good, but he's not very good. He still gets a B in my opinion. I think Ponos did a good job focusing on stuff there. It's pretty detailed for the animation and the idea. I think they were pretty intricate on the design of that. Moving on, let's get to another Galaxy Gal before we go. or to somebody from that monster event, the Girls and Monsters event. I think that Ponos did a good job designing them too. I'll give them an S tier for that. They look like people, and it looks like something a high budget anime would have created. So I think they did a good job on that. Jiangxi, oh cool, we're up to 10.5 minutes. Jiangxi's alright. I see him over there. Cats in the Cradle. So unlike the cat capsule here, Cats in the Cradle, they're pretty cool because they do have Jamera attacking, but they make it in a way where he's big, strong, and there's a bunch of other cats dancing around him. So I think that's pretty cool. I think he gets a B+. I'm going to rank a couple more. Filibuster right here, arguably the worst unit in the game, especially for his cost and the point in the game where you get him. But I think he's designed pretty well. I'll give him a B. Not up to Dark Laser, but he gets a B. Because when he attacks, it looks pretty cool. It looks more like a Crazed Bahamut type attack. And, those are always pretty awesome. But he's not a Awakened Bahamut cat. And you almost never get to see him attack. That's the sad part. 2 more. See if I can find Shisholan. He'll probably go in that A tier with Luffy. And if I can't find him, no big deal. I'll just switch to another unit. And today's question of the day: would you guys like background music in the background of these videos? Do you think they're boring without it, or do you like hearing the voice and just paying attention to the rankings? Let me know down below. I'm interested because I've heard mixed opinions about playing music in the background, and I think that'd be an interesting concept. I cannot find Luffy, but I will rank Phono. And, I'm a fan of him. I think Phono is designed really well. He falls under that, that Uberfest, Epic Fest, Superfest type design where he's just, he's like a badass dragon. I've always thought that's pretty cool. And, he gets an S tier. Gonna rank one more unit. And that unit will go in the, I think he's cool for Meat Shield. He's a little over the normal macho cat. What they did with him, it was actually pretty cool. They gave him, the colors are really vibrant. It looks really cool. They gave him a little twirl and everything. I think they did a good job on this, and he's going to be one of the coolest Meat Shields they can find. I think Meat Shields are less cool than Ubers just because they're smaller and they have less interesting attack animations most of the time. But Gato Amiga will go in B. And this is my ranking. So we have Kai at first place. Everybody else is, I don't even know if you could say she's first place. You could probably swap these guys out or whatever. But she's in that S tier. All of these guys are too. A tier. B tier. There's a good amount in B tier as well, who I think are cool, but they lack things that would move them up. And then we have our C and D tier. But if you guys like content like this, a little bit more laid back, not so serious on the rankings, but more for a fun video, let me know down below in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so you never miss an upload. Spartan Cat signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.